Got this little guy on my keychain here, and it might give you a little hint about what the video is going to be about. Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Monday, May 6th, 2024, and it's mid-afternoon, and as you can see, I'm out here in my van/recording studio, and got a kind of an interesting little story that I want to share with you today. It's something that happened this past weekend, and you all know that watch the channel. You know that a while back I was interviewed by another YouTube channel called Flash of Beauty Bigfoot Revealed, and they did about a 44-minute video interview with me here, and that's done real well. That's over 51,000 views as of this morning. But that's not what this story's about. I've gotten a lot of people move over to my channel and subscribed, and I've got a lot of people have reached out to me that want to talk to me about that. But I got one Saturday evening. I had a comment on one of my videos that came to me directly, and about a guy in Alabama that wanted to talk to me, and he was having some issues that where he was quite frightened, actually, and it had been going on for a while, and it was a little bit unusual, and got a couple of cars going by, so you might get a little bit of road noise. But anyway, he reached out to me and wanted to know if there's any way he could contact me. Well, what I do in those cases is I'll respond to the comment, and I'll give them my email address that I use, and they can email me with their contact info, and then I can give them a call. And that's what I told this guy I'd do, and that was kind of late in the evening on Saturday. And so I didn't think much of it. Well, Sunday morning when I came downstairs and turned on the coffee pot and turned the computer on and went to check my email overnight, and good golly, he'd sent me this big long email telling me about all this stuff that's been happening to him, and you could tell, you could see that he was very, very concerned, and he was afraid, and that he wanted to know what was going on, and you know, that he was real apprehensive. And so anyway, so I said, well, what the heck? So I went ahead and gave him a call. They're 2 hours later than we are, and it was still pretty early here, but a little bit later, of course, there. And so anyway, like I said, he's from Alabama, and just for the sake of this video, I think I'm just going to call him Al. And well, Al started having activity around his home, and some of the stuff was kind of frightening. And he works a job where he works all over the state, and so he would work out of town quite a bit. And well, he started having activity just about every place he went, and he was obviously tagged, and but he couldn't figure out what was going on and why they picked him and why they were doing what they were doing, and the activity kept getting a little bit more outrageous, and so he was actually scared. He actually had a sighting of a dog man. And so, you know, so anyway, I called him, and he was kind of beyond words. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to do. I mean, he knew the darn things were real. He'd seen them, but he had no idea what was happening or why. And so I listened to him for about an hour, and he just, you know, told me everything that had happened and all about all his fears, and he and his wife had both seen him, and they had some pretty interesting stories that they related. And but anyway, so in listening to him, I decided, you know, listen. I asked him. I says, are you willing to try something? And he said, I'll try anything at this point. So I told him, I said, he told me there was an area pretty close to where he lived where there'd been quite a bit of activity, and it was within easy walking distance. It wasn't very far. And so I told him, I says, you know, go down there this evening, and when you get down there, go down there right about sundown, and give me a call from there. We're going to try something. Well, if you follow the channel, you know that I've had a couple of times when I've been able to walk people through over the phone about what they're happening. There's been a couple of them, a lady up in Ontario and then another lady in upstate New York. And in both cases, we had excellent results. Now, this situation was a little bit different, and involved the guy was pretty fearful, and So what I told him, I said, what I want you to do today while you're waiting is I want you to practice trying to clear your mind. Practice trying to I asked him, I said, are you one of those guys that's always, your mind's always going about 100 different directions, 100 mile an hour all the time? And he said, yeah, I am. And I said, well, practice clearing your mind, because you're going to need to do that for what we're going to try tonight. And he said, okay. And I asked him how he'd found out about me, and he said he was watching YouTube videos on his phone, and all of a sudden YouTube popped up with one of my videos, and it piqued his interest, and he decided to watch it. And after he watched the video, that's what made him decide to comment on it and try to reach out to me. And I thought that in itself was kind of interesting. He had not watched the A Flash of Beauty Bigfoot Revealed interview, but YouTube had actually recommended one of my videos, and that's how he found out about me. So anyway, I thought about it during the day, and so sure enough, right about sundown down there, which had been about 7:30 and about 5:30 here, he calls me. He says, okay, what are we going to do? So I told him, I said, well, I want you to just go down there where you think you've had activity there before, and I want you to just walk into the woods, and I want you to tell me if you get any kind of a buzzy feeling in your head. And he walks in there and he says, I'm not getting a buzzy feeling in my head. He says, but I can feel that there's a presence here. I can feel that there's somebody here. I said, well, that's good enough. Not everybody gets the buzzy feeling. So I started directing him, telling him, he said, just reach out to him, say, I know you're here. Can you, and thank you, I feel that. And you can turn that up if you like. And then tell me if it gets more intense. So he did that. And it takes about 30 seconds or so. And sure, he says, yeah, he says, I can feel that. And I said, okay, they're there. So I started doing the same thing I did with the two ladies. And I said, I'm gonna ask you a question that involves a number. And they will probably respond even before I'm finished asking the question. I never even started asking the question. They come back 7. He said, that's the number he got. Okay, well, that meant there were 7 of them there. So we went on with that a little bit, and we asked about a name. And we got a name. We got a female name. And we asked her how old she was. And we apologized to her, said we don't want to be pushy, but we want to make sure that we're talking with an adult. And we want to make sure, and we asked if she's a female, and she confirmed she was. And so we asked her, I said, we don't want to be pushy, but can we ask you how old you are, because we want to make sure we're not dealing with a juvenile. And she came back and said she was 21. So she's a young adult. Well, this is pretty darn cool. And so we had a little bit of back and forth with her. And so I told him, I said, well, tell him who you're talking with, and that you've got Chuck from Arizona on the phone. And the forest people sometime back, they gave me a name, and the name they gave me is Wista. And we asked what that meant, and they told us in their language it means sage. And and I was blown away when they felt that I was worthy enough that they considered me a sage, and they gave me that name. And if you're not familiar with the term sage, if you look up the definition, it means a person of profound wisdom. And I can't believe that the Sasquatch people would think enough of me to think that, but that's the name they gave me. So I told him, I said, tell him that, and tell him that they should know me. And so he did, and got a reaction. So I said, well, I'm gonna talk to them through the phone, and they're gonna hear me, and they will answer you. And so I came out and asked him, I said, why have you picked Al? He's fearful of you. He doesn't know what's happening, and he's afraid. Why did you choose him? And the answer we got back was, give him knowledge. So for some reason, they have picked him, and they wish to give him knowledge. And he was totally blown away by all this. Well, we could have gone probably actually a little further with that, But, you know, he probably had a lot to mentally process about what we did. So basically what I told him is that, okay, you know, we brought you there. You got zapped. You've received mindspeak. We got you a name. We introduced you to the family group that's here. You know who they are now. And I think you can take it from here. You know, if you want to stop for the evening until you can go back home and think about it and talk to your wife about it, well, that's fine, because you can come back because you know who they are now. And he was just absolutely, totally amazed. And I was absolutely, totally amazed, because this is the third time that I've done this now over the phone. And then to make the thing totally, if it couldn't be any cooler, is I'm sitting on a stool at my breakfast bar in my kitchen, talking to him on the phone 2,000 plus miles away. And when I said that, then he got zapped and I got tingled 2,000 miles away. How does that happen? I don't know. I think that was a loud truck. But I got tingled sitting in my kitchen talking to him on the phone. So I didn't want to totally overload him, so we left him at that. He's going to be back in touch with me. It's going to take him a while to figure out, because I told him that it's up to him now whether he wants to follow up on this or not. He has the opportunity to follow up with them and learn more about them. But if he doesn't think he wants to do that, he knows who they are, and he can ask them if they will just leave him alone, and if they will not bother him anymore, and they will probably honor his wishes. So this all happened yesterday. Now, if that's not amazing, I don't know what is. It's less than 24 hours since I was talking to him on the phone. I haven't heard from him today, but my guess is it's probably taken him a while to process all this, and I think I'll be hearing from him within the next few days. He doesn't know I'm making this video. I've deliberately kept it a little bit vague because I don't want to, you know, I want him to have a little bit of space to decide what he wants to do on that. But interesting story, come out of the state of Alabama, and it happened less than 24 hours ago. So, as I always tell you, you know, believe what you will. It's fine. It doesn't alter what actually happened. And I'll tell you, as I always do, take care of each other and love each other and take care of yourself. It's a absolutely beautiful day here. It's right around 70 degrees and the sun's out and shiny, and I've been running some errands for my wife, and it's just an absolutely perfect time. So I guess there's nothing more on this story. I'll bring you another one again here pretty quick. And so for right now, I'm just going to tell you, peace out.